Don't bitch up. Don't bitch yourself. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Rude Cooking School podcast. I'm your bitch, John Hauser III. And with me is a woman who is not a bitch.
Yeah, Jeni Peck, not a bitch. That's right, bitch.
Yeah, I'm the bitch. Hi, everybody.
Before we started, did I call you a bitch or did you call me? We called each other a bitch before.
No, you called me a bitch.
Oh, I called you a bitch. Oh, sorry.
I might have called myself a bitch.
Maybe that's what
and
it was.
then you said, yeah, bitch. So, whatever. I am a bitch. I've been bitching since we started talking.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I just told you it sucks.
Yeah.
No, I'm just overwhelmed. I got a lot going on. I was telling Jeni I'm excited. I got a gig tomorrow night teaching cooking classes, teaching a cooking class for one thing. I'm making English onion soup, and
Nice.
it all came together within a week, and I had to put it all together. And as you know, I like to overplan things.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to just push myself to an insane degree, and it's a 1 hour class. These people are paying $5 because it's a First Friday thing, but I want to make a good impression. And so, it's writing recipes and researching and making sure I have enough food to buy and all that shit and blah, blah, blah.
And then you got to get it all done in an hour, right? It's an hour cooking
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way it's gonna happen.
I feel like the introduction will be an hour.
No, I'm gonna try to hit the ground running. I don't know if I should prep anything, because part of the class I would think for them is the prep, for them to learn how to
do that. Yeah,
right. But I don't want to prep, half of the leaks. And then be like, all right, everybody gets a leak, watch out for the sand, that kind of shit. So, it'd just do what it is. And I'm sure if it goes over a little bit, the guy's not going to be bummed out by it.
Do you know how many people you have yet?
Not as of yet. I know they were getting inquiries. So they were getting inquiries today about whether it would be vegetarian.
Oh,
and originally I was like, well, I'll just do it with chicken stock before I really thought about it. And I was like, people who are going to want this, it's onion soup. It can go either way. All you do is switch out the stock, and I'll just buy another jar of better than broth or whatever, better than bouillon, and give them the option. And there you go. It's vegetarian. And then at the end, or, in the beginning, they don't have to add butter to their pan before they start sauteing. Yeah. And at the end, they don't have to put cheese on the bread, which sucks because that's the best part of onion soup. But hey, if you're vegan, you make your
you make your bed. You
lie in
it.
You lie in that no cheese bed.
You swim in it.
You make your fucking croutons. You lie on them. I
that
like
sounds fun though.
Soup, you swim in it.
Yeah.
So I'm giving an option for vegetarians and vegans if they don't want to have the cheese. But I'm not buying vegan cheese in case a vegan shows up.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. The only thing that would drive me crazy is I cannot stand watching people who don't have knife skills cut things.
Slowly cut things.
It's painful. It hurts.
Waiting for them to lop off a finger.
Yes.
I told you the first cooking class I ever gave, some guy had to go to the hospital, right?
No, you never
cut the
told
tip
me
of his
story.
finger off.
Oh,
yeah, they
God.
were all fucking drinking wine beforehand.
Oh,
and then
he
would have been fine if he hadn't have been drinking. He just didn't stop bleeding. I'm like, tape it up. He's fine. Fucking super glue it. He'll be good. And they're like, super glue. I'm like, honestly, yeah, super glue is really good. And I was like, he didn't cut it all the way off. It was still kind of flappy.
Ooh,
but they were freaking out. He got a couple stitches, but he would have been fine if they'd have just taped it up well. But he was bleeding too much because he had been drinking.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, I was like, hey, everybody, look, I see that you've already opened the wine. Let's not do a lot of this, okay? And they were just strolling along, and they weren't drunk. You know what I mean? They'd had 2 glasses of wine.
Yeah, but
they're probably on their third or something.
If you don't have knife skills, that's
right.
Can be a problem. But no wine at this one, right? Or
no. And I bought a knife sharpener today, one of those like little handheld, like go through the 4 ports kind of deal.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I was like, fuck it. They're not. I really wouldn't use those on my home knives, but these aren't my knives. Fuck it. Because I was feeling them last night. They were pretty dull, and I was like, you can't have this.
This is dangerous.
This is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
that's gonna be fun though. I taught one class out in DC at the local YMCA, teaching them how to make their own gravlax. Because I did it through my old job, through Neopol, and they asked me to come and teach a class on making gravlax. And it was a lot of fun. They had like a commercial kitchen. They had it set up, and everyone got to take home a fillet of their own gravlax that they could slice up later. And I had a whole side of gravlax done, so everyone got, and I brought like the proper knives, and everyone got to taste it, and like I brought like the accoutrements, and so everyone could have, you know, like the actual, like the whole shebang. But everyone also got to slice it. Like they learned how to slice it really thin, which was a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed that. And there was much less chopping, so I was okay. But if I had to teach a class that involved a lot of chopping and I had to watch people like butcher it, I would, I'd just walk away. I
honestly really enjoy the look. And I'm being serious. I really enjoy the look on someone's face when they finally start to do it right.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is in the beginning, like you're doing the claw and you're trying to keep it against your knuckles and you're scared because you don't feel like you're actually gripping the thing that you're cooking. Yeah. Even though that's not what it's about. It's really about having a sharp knife and just guiding the knife.
Yeah, or they put their pointer finger on top of the knife.
On top, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so unsteady. And then instead of sliding it, they just press down. And it's like, that's not how knives work.
Yeah, you got to slice.
Yeah.
But, you know, once they start to get it, you know, they start feeling good about themselves. It's like, yeah, you had a breakthrough. It's great. Like, that's why you come to cooking classes, you know? Like,
yeah. And it's like, I like, when I do tell people, like, about cutting skills, knife skills, is like, don't try to be fast. Like, just learn the proper technique.
Right.
And as you practice, you'll just naturally get faster. But if you're using poor technique and trying to do it fast, that's when you cut yourself. Like,
So many people, and honestly, that's what that guy that cut his fingertip off was trying to fucking show off in front of his girlfriend, and was trying to and fucking caught himself because he wasn't doing the claw.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like the gravlax thing's actually pretty genius. If I I might continue on every month and give classes. That's a really good one to do. I remember when I was doing a blog once a week, that was one of the last things I actually did, was a step-by-step on how to make gravlax.
Nice.
And I got so many people that were like, I never knew it was that easy. Like, I had people coming up to me for years like, I didn't know it was that easy. I tried it for my family, and people thought I was like a culinary genius. I'm like, yeah, you just salt fish and let it fucking sit for a couple days.
Yeah.
It's really easy.
And you don't need a whole side of salmon. You just need a decent size like fillet.
Right.
And so I did 2 flavors actually. I did like the classic gravlax with the dill and the lemon.
And then you did the beet one?
And no, I did a Mexican style where I did lime zest mezcal.
Okay, instead of the aquavit.
A little smoke and cilantro, and it's really good. That's salty, the smoky.
I like that.
Yeah, it worked really well. So I guess you could do tequila instead of mezcal if you don't want that smoke. Yeah. So
but the smoke is nice because smoke
I like
so fucking nice.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
like,
and it's different type.
It's a sneaky way to get smoke in there without smoking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Turned out good.
I guess you could do that with smoked salt too. If you grind a little smoked salt into your salt. Oh wow. Okay, I just had an epiphany. Weird.
Mm-hmm. You can go so many directions.
Have you ever had Himalayan black salt? Have we talked about this? Have you tried it at my house?
I think so. Yeah. If I haven't had it at your house, I've had it before.
So Crosby fell in love with it when we were in England, and it's Himalayan black salt, and it's it has a very high sulfur content. So it tastes like egg. And a lot of vegans use it to flavor their tofu and shit to make it taste like an egg without...
Savory, yeah.
Right, without eating an egg. And I'm just thinking about this because we had our fantasy football draft last weekend, and I'm the commissioner, I mean, regardless of that, people come over to my house and I feed them while we're doing the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And Leanna brought it up and she pulled it out. Everybody got like a little piece of salt and just a room of dudes like eating salt like, oh my God, it does taste like an egg. It's really funny. It's really weird. But yeah, Gravlax is a good idea. But yeah, I'm doing that. I'm just stressing out about it because I always stress out about things like that because it's what I do.
Yeah, you're good at it.
Perfectionist.
Stressing out, that is.
I'm a perfectionist at stressing out. Yeah. Driving Leanna crazy.
Man. That'll be great.
No, once I get going, it's like, it's star time. You know what I mean? It's like, I stress out about the podcast, but then once we start doing them, fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's all the prep and second guessing and trying to make it as good as I can. Mm-hmm. And then once you start doing it, like, it's just going to go as it goes, but being prepared for things, you know what I mean? Being prepared for questions and all that, you know, trying to anticipate stuff. Like, that's what drives me insane.
Yeah.
And I can't help it. So
the unknown.
But yeah, going back to the fantasy football thing, I made pizza, which was convenient, and I made some smoked chicken wings.
Nice.
And then just had some homemade ranch. And
I was gonna say, like, what sauce?
Keeping it simple.
Nice.
I was like, I'm not gonna kill myself because I've done it in the past. Like, one year I made ramen for this fucking thing.
You're crazy.
And you know, like, it's like a week.
You did the Momofuku ramen?
Yes.
Yeah.
For fucking fantasy football draft.
No way, dude.
And that was the time when all these guys were like, yeah, this is pretty good, man. It's almost as good as like the stuff you get in the package. And I was like, I'll fucking murder you right here. Fucking you know, they knew how to get to me. But it was like, they loved it, but I was like, all right, that's that.
You know what I would have made? Pigs in a blanket with fucking Pillsbury croissant rolls wrapped in those little mini sausages. That's it. That's what I would have made.
I would have done that, but I would have made the dough.
No, Pillsbury croissants are fucking delicious.
I hate the flavor of those things.
Yeah, the fake butter.
I ate those things a lot.
I grew up with it. It's a nostalgia thing.
When I got out of college, my girlfriend that I was living with at the time, we ate those things a lot, those biscuits and shit. And I learned to hate them. Like, just because
it was so random when I was a kid. Like, for Thanksgiving, that was our dinner roll, like with meal, was croissants, like out of the can. Isn't that random? But
it's super random.
Here's the thing: we always forgot to make them as we were eating dinner, so my cousin would run and throw them in, and then they would go with the second helpings. Because by the time they were done, you already done your first plate. Like,
and it's like sandwich time.
Year, like it became a tradition to fucking forget them.
That's funny. It's funny because my mother or my grandmother's really never baked that much. My dad would bake, but he would bake like cakes or cookies and shit. Mm-hmm. Like, but the only time somebody would bake is they would buy a box of like hot roll mix, and then make these fucking giant, fluffy on the inside, hard on the outside rolls that I've still been trying to shoot for my whole life. The key is like powdered milk and shit, like, you know, because it changes the texture of the dough. But the same thing, like that was the only time I would get fresh baked bread, and those things are like set in my mind as like the greatest thing in the world. And then somebody just stopped making them, and they just bought pre-made fucking dinner rolls,
and it
ruined it. But same thing, we would get down and start eating, and somebody go like, "Can you pass the roll?" "Oh, I forgot to put the rolls in the oven." You know, because they're like half cooked.
Yeah.
So you still gotta put them in for like 20 minutes, and everybody's like, "Oh man."
Everyone forgets.
God damn it.
Yeah, but it's all part of the tradition. It's the way.
Yeah.
It's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to come out perfect. And like,
no, it's never supposed, and it's really just about having stupid stories like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other things. Oh, I made stuffed tomatoes this week.
Ooh, the tomatoes are fucking still going pretty good right now.
That's why I did it, because I went to like there's a farm stand, like a farm it's a farm stand, but not like just by itself. It's like a whole deal. But I went and grabbed a thing of tomatoes, and they were like the perfect size. They're like softball size,
Ooh,
and they were really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I quarter them out, and made Israeli couscous.
Ooh, instead of rice, nice.
Right. So did Israeli couscous, chopped up calamatas, red onion, spinach, bacon, and
bacon,
and the rest of the tomato stuff that I had cooked down almost into a syrup and mixed that in.
Yeah.
And then put that in there. That was really, really, really good.
That sounds good.
Oh, and then mixed cheese into the mixture, then topped it with cheese, and then grilled, like slow cooked them on the grill as a side to a steak. So I grilled some steaks up, and then they were a side. But
damn! Cheese, I was like, that's a whole meal in itself.
Oh yeah, it was. I served everybody the whole tomato, but I was like, we're only going to eat half of this. Like, I know that, but the structural integrity of these tomatoes is not going to last. So like as soon as I put them on the plate, they're like, good. Yeah, they're done. But the cheese got all melty and crisp. It was great.
Yeah, my mom always made really good stuffed peppers, never stuffed tomatoes, or stuffed cabbage, which is my favorite. Like
Leanna makes stuffed tomatoes. I've made stuffed cabbage once in my life, I think.
So good. And like I even like kind of like the Russian or like the Eastern European version where the sauce is almost like a sweet sour sauce.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Because my next door neighbors were Greek, and they would make galumkis, or whatever I think that's what they called them. And when she would make it, she would bring them over to my dad because she knows my dad liked it. It was like rice and ground meat and a kind of sweet and sour tomato sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, I've even seen it that yours? Has like raisins and stuff in it. I like
that
version, but but golden raisins. But my mom would do like Italian style with like ground beef and rice inside, and then a tomato sauce, like a light tomato sauce on top.
Yeah, real watery tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Which I've always like. That's weird.
It's good because all the cabbage leaf juices get in there, totally. So it's almost like you get a little soup action on top of it, or it like gets saucy, like it thickens from the rice a little bit, and
also out of one cabbage, you can make like 8,000 fucking wraps.
Yeah,
there's so many leaves in a fucking head of cabbage.
Yeah, and the key, right, is to freeze it. You core it and then freeze it. And it softens all the leaves.
Because boiling it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you gotta wait for it to cool, and the ones on the outside are too cooked. The ones on the inside are, you gotta like take leaves off, boil it again, take leaves off, boil it again. That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, whoever figured out the freezing thing's a goddamn genius.
Yep.
Because it just breaks down the cellular,
Yeah, and it doesn't it's not overcooked. It still has a little toothsomeness.
Oh yeah.
As when after you cook it, so good stuff. I haven't been cooking too much. I've been taking it easy. We finally broke out the grill on the roof. We don't start grilling up there until later in the season because it's just so hot.
Yeah,
we have like one umbrella up there, but it's just so high up and just like there's nothing to protect you from the sun. But I grilled some barbecue chicken this week, and it was banging. Why is chicken so much better on the grill?
I have no fucking idea.
The most perfect chicken in the oven, and I would punt that across the street over mediocre grilled chicken leg. Me
too. Unless it's like you just, and I'm not even talking about fried chicken. I'm just talking about like glass shattering chicken skin.
Ooh, yeah.
That you can just get on on a pan. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like, where you just kind of put it off to the side of the grill and just let it go. Maybe add a couple things of wood to smoke it out a little bit, and just finish it over top of the grill. Hit it with some sauce if you want.
Yeah. I like a little, just like brushed, a thin layer. Nothing too sweet. I don't want the syrupy sauce that just burns
disgusting.
On it. But I treat it like I'm frying it though. I dry cure it overnight in the fridge uncovered, so the skin like tightens up, and so you get a nice crispy skin even on the grill.
When I made the wings for the fantasy football draft, I basically took the wings, salt, pepper, and then just all the herbs, mint, basil, sage, thyme, rosemary, chopped it all up, just fucking rolled it all in and just put it in a bowl. Nice. And then, turned it once or twice in 24 hours and then kind of dried them off as much as I could. And then, they were great. Like, but that's the thing, is to like
dry them
put them on a rack and really dry them out good,
Yeah. That's the way I like it.
It's too much. It was too much work. I was like, fuck that shit. Those guys, that was my one thing where I was like, they don't deserve that.
So I haven't been cooking too much, but we did take a quick trip to Durham, North Carolina, to visit our lovely friends again, Leanne and Andy. And dude, they have a smash burger joint down there that's so fucking good. It's called Queen Burger, and it's like this fast casual place, local. And they do griddle burgers, and just the regular, like, you can't get a single griddle burger. Like, it always has 2 griddle patties on it, and just like that soft, like, potato roll bun, just cheese, just onions. Is there pickles on it? Yeah, I think there's pickles on it.
There is.
And it's so simple. And they have shoestring French fries.
Say it again.
Did that come out right? Shoestring. It's really hard to say.
It is shoestring, yeah.
Fries. It's so good. So
which one did you get? You got the classic? I'm looking at their menu.
Yeah, okay. I like the classic. But they also have a spicy one that was really good. Leanne and Annie say they get the kimchi burger. That's really good. But like, I don't want too much shit on my burger. For a griddle burger, I just want it classic, man.
So the way that theirs look, that classic looks like the place I've been, talking about all year. Mm-hmm. That is at Oriole Park, and I've caught them at their thing, at their food truck. Yeah, it's the griddled onions. I don't know what Ashe County hoop cheese is, but that sounds interesting.
It tastes like cheddar, but like it's a cross between American and cheddar. Because you know how like some people put cheddar on their burgers and it's not the right kind of cheddar? It's like oily and it's not like melty like an American cheese. So their cheese is solid. Like, it's really good, whatever they're using.
Oh, it's a traditional farmer's cheese, like a queso blanco.
Oh, on what? On their classic?
Yeah, I'm looking up what hoop cheese is.
Oh. No, it tastes like American cheese. Or cheddar.
It melted like that?
Yeah, and it tasted like that.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, we went there and we were like, should we go out? What should we get? And I'm like, dude, I want a burger. I want a burger. Like, that's what I want.
Because you had been there before?
We don't have great burgers here, but when you have a really good burger, it's like hard to deny it.
Yeah. That's been my whole thing all summer, is like, I had a really good fucking burger for like once in forever at a place, and I'm like, I'm devoted. You won't get rid of me now because this is so fucking good.
Yeah. It's one of those burgers that even if you're not in the mood for a burger and someone's like, hey, you want to get Queen Burger? And I'm like, yeah. I don't care if I don't want a burger. I do want a burger. Like,
yeah, and I mean, we've made them at home. Like we have. I don't think all summer we made regular burgers. It's been those smash into onion burgers.
Yeah.
Like, whatever style it is, I forget.
Cool.
Yeah.
So should we get into our next round of cookbooks?
Yeah, we're going to do one book a piece because doing 8 zillion books that we're trying to like run through as fast as we can kind of sucks. So
yeah.
You're picking one, I'm picking one. And mine's a big one physically. Yeah. And I'm sure nobody's heard of it, but we'll see. I'm excited to see what you've brought to the table.
Mine is not huge. It's pretty short and sweet because literally it's about one thing. Ham.
Ham. Nice.
Ham. The book is literally called Ham, An Obsession with Ham, the Hindquarter. With more than 100 recipes from around the world by Bruce Weinstein and Mark Scarborough.
Okay.
And
I recognize the cover.
Yeah.
And I remember it got good reviews, but I never have looked at that book.
Yeah, it's I got it a really long time ago. You know what? I might have gotten this in Durham, visiting friends, visiting someone many, many, many moons ago. When was this published? I don't know.
In my brain, it's like the early to mid 2000s, maybe.
I can't find the published page. Where is it? I don't know. Anyway, it's a really cool book. It describes ham, all the different versions of ham, and all the different recipes that you can use with ham. And
holy shit, there's a lot of ham cookbooks.
Yeah.
I just tried to look up this book. There's a lot. Okay, hold on. What's the actual name of it? Ham a what?
It is An Obsession with Ham, the Hindquarter. So
go ahead, I'm sorry.
The table of contents are it's the picture of a ham, and it has the front end, which is like the introduction and like gives you a little bit of information about pork and the cut of the meat, and it tells you the different parts and things like that. And then the first section is fresh ham, and then it gives you recipes. It's like, it's not brined, it's not cured, it's like roasting a whole leg of ham. Anywhere from like, you'd think like carnitas is roasted ham pretty much. They have a recipe for a where is it? Sorry, I saved the page.
It's 2010, by the way.
They have a Filipino twice cooked pork, which is almost like adobo. It's a adobo and carnitas put together, because first it's braised like adobo, and then it's confited, pretty much fried in its own lard.
Oh, afterwards. Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like first in like vinegar and soy, and then killer. So they have like, and then they have the classic like whole roasted fresh ham with apples and apple cider vinegar and a glaze and things like that. So, and everywhere in between. And they have like a Moroccan style, like a Tuscan roasted ham with potatoes and garlic. And then they go Asian. And these recipes like are really good. Like they're great recipes. They're not too out there, and pretty good for the fresh ham. And then it goes into dry cured hams of the old world. And then we're talking about like prosciutto, serrano, and all those hams. And what's like really cool, let me turn to the page, is the list of fucking dried hams from all these different countries and what they're called. And like, obviously I know in my brain that these exist, but to have them listed out, and this isn't even all of them, but like to start out with, there's like culatello, which is like the pinnacle of Italian ham making. A Lenski boot, a dry cured ham from Bulgaria. Hamon d'Ardenne, which is a Belgium style dry cured ham. Hamon de Bayonne, a French dry cured ham. Hamon de Vendée, which is another French cured ham, but then that's also rubbed with pear or plum eau de vie, whatever the fuck that is.
It's a liquor. It's like pear.
No, that
it's like it's like pear. Like, have you ever had like apple brandy?
Ew.
It's like pear brandy, but it tastes really, really good. Oh, I know how you'll know it. Have you ever seen the bottle with a fucking pear in it?
Yeah. Oh,
that's pear eau de vie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's dry cured ham that's also rubbed with that, and it's weird. French. Jamon Iberico, which is obviously the Spanish ham. Jamon Serrano, another type of Spanish ham. Presunto, which is it's similar to Jamon Serrano, but with more of a chew and a little tang. That's a great match for hard-aged cheeses. And then prosciutto crudo, which is like prosciutto, but it's more raw. Like, I guess
I was
it's
about to
not
say
cured
crudo
as much.
Oh, maybe it hasn't been aged as long.
Yeah, and then it goes on and on.
So it's softer.
There's Schwarzwälder Schinken, which is a smoked, dried, cured ham from the hilly forested region near the university town of Freiburg in southwestern Germany.
Yeah, I was about to say that
Yeah.
sounds like a German.
There's
shit.
Speck, which is like an Italian dry cured ham. There's
Speck is basically prosciutto, but it's smoked.
Yes, and then it usually has juniper berries and bay leaves.
It's so good. Yeah, it's so good.
And then there's Sunka, which is an Eastern European style dry cured ham, and it's cured around Christmas time. There's York ham, which is an English dry cured ham, and it goes on and on and on.
When I was in York, they have a place. It's got a couple places in the city where they have these hams baking in the window, and you can see it, and it's fucking the smell. Like, they have the fan that blows all the smell out.
Oh man, my mouth just started watering.
It is glorious. Like,
yeah,
it's over the top, and I wanted to go in, but it was like 50 people deep, and I was like, I can't wait that long. I got to go get some food now. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been worth it though if you did.
Without a doubt. JJ told me, he was like, "Oh, it's worth it," but I'm hungry, and I was like, "Yeah, me too. I can't wait 45 minutes to get food."
But so this is a really cool section where it has just the old world
that's super cool. I like
descriptions of them, and then it goes on with the recipes. How do you not just to obviously, like with all these ham, you just fucking eat it. You eat it.
Right.
They have a section called the European Ham Party, and it kind of tells you what hams to serve with what accoutrements and things like that.
I've been to those websites.
Great.
Welcome to the European Ham Party.
But then they give you a lot of recipes of like how to use these dry cured hams, which a lot of people don't think of. They think of it more as like an appetizer or aperitif type thing, or something served with cheese, on a charcuterie plate. But there's so much more you can do with it. Like they have Serrano wrapped scallops and bruschetta and quesadillas with ham and chilled honeydew soup with frizzled ham. That's pretty much like baked like cured ham that's turned into like bacon pretty much, and like
and ham and melon's such a good combination.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, that was the only way I would eat melon, is if it was wrapped with ham.
Yeah, people have a love-hate relationship with melon.
Yeah,
I get it,
especially like cantaloupes and shit.
It's definitely better with ham though.
Yeah, salt has to go on my melons.
I haven't made this one yet, but I feel like like we've been breaking out the cookbooks again, and I'm like, shit, I wanted to make prosciutto bread.
Yeah.
And they have a really good looking recipe in here, and I already had it dog-eared, and I'm like, shit, I never made this.
Hell yeah.
So I am definitely making this.
I think you got a weekend project for yourself.
Hell yeah. I'm going to need Lila's help because bread is not really my thing.
True.
But if there's prosciutto in it, it's worth making it my thing. Because meat. So there's all these recipes where you're actually using these dry cured hams in your cooking and not just eating it as a snack.
Have you cooked out of it before?
I have. I've cooked, they had a pasta dish that used some speck in it, and then I got like a lot of ideas, not like exact recipes, but being like, instead of bacon or instead of this, why am I not using this ham, and like giving me ideas and things like that of what to do with it, because like for some reason I never would have thought of it. Like before this book, I just thought it's an appetizer, it's a snack. Into cooking. But then it also gets into New World dry cured hams. Sorry, I'm trying to find the page here. But they're talking about like country ham. Like pretty much that was all Europe, and then now we're talking about like American cured hams, like the Virginia ham or and things like that. So it has a whole section about them. of how it's made, and then recipes. A lot of them are Southern, like fried country ham steaks with red eye gravy, like really classic Southern style cured ham recipes, and collard greens with country ham and things like that. They have a really good recipe for country carbonara.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Classically, it's Italian dish. It's usually used with a European dry cured joust,
guanciale,
pork bowels, guanciale, which to me tends to be too porky. Like whenever
it's so fatty.
It's so, and the flavor of pork is so, like Lila doesn't like it because it's just too porky. So a lot of times I'll use bacon, but here they use country ham, dry cured ham, and it's like, duh, that sounds like fucking delicious. And really fresh farm eggs, like, come on. That sounds like the perfect carbonara.
That's funny. I was watching a video today and somebody made guanciale carbonara, and I was like, I love it, but it's such a pain in the ass to render down the guanciale because it's basically all fat,
Yeah, and you can only get it at certain places, and a lot of times, even though it's dry cured, it's not that fresh because, like, no one uses it these days. Like, no one uses it around here. So a lot of times I'll just use pancetta.
Yeah.
Which
is kind of the same thing, but not as fatty.
But it's the belly, right?
Right.
That's cured.
It's belly.
It's salted and cured, but not smoked.
And then rolled.
Excuse me. And then you can get smoked pancetta, which is like pretty much bacon.
Yeah.
It's Italian bacon.
Yeah. It's Italian bacon. Yeah, absolutely. I did, when we were in Seattle, we went to a place that made their own pasta. And they just had a pasta robot just pooping out these little pasta
shapes. Pasta?
Pooping pasta, fresh pasta. I mean, they were just making tons of it. But Leanna got like a vodka sauce thing. And I was like, vodka sauce? Okay, fine, whatever. That's what she wants. I'll try it. And then I was like, oh my God, I have never had vodka sauce this fucking good. So that was the thing that when I got home, I was like, I got to recreate this.
Yeah.
And it was like a spicy vodka sauce. But like, you could tell that they were like heavy on the vodka, but cooked it out.
Yeah.
It was so good. So I couldn't find that shape because it's like a ratatouille. It's like the radiator shape. So I found some fun things and made the sauce. But at Di Pasquale's you can buy. Now don't tell anybody this. This is the secret to Di Pasquale's. You can buy the ends of prosciutto, and you basically get like a half a pound of just solid prosciutto for like $4.
Yeah, it's like the butt end. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all prosciutto, and I just took that and chopped that up, and then rendered that out till it was crispy, and then used that as like, not like almost kind of like bacon bits. It was so fucking good.
Ooh, good idea.
Because because you get that like funky prosciutto fat flavor.
Yeah, the curedness.
It was really good. That sounds good.
You know what else they use their like butt end and like extra pieces of prosciutto with? They make their what is it called? It tastes like pepperoni paste.
Oh, Njula.
Yeah.
Induja.
But usually that's made specifically for itself, but they make it very differently. They make it with their prosciutto bits.
Really?
Yeah, with their prosciutto.
Because I know it's ground up prosciutto.
Yeah.
With Calabrian chilies and...
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
They use to make
For years, I thought that was an African thing. Just because of the name of it.
Yeah,
and then when I was reading up on it, I was like, it's Italian? What the fuck? Yeah, dude, Induja on like...
Pizza.
Yeah. On pizza's so fucking good.
Yeah, but like, it really is. Cooked down in like a broth for like steamed clams or mussels.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
It is so good. Savory and spicy. I love Calabrian chilies. It's magical. It's a magic chili.
When I was in Seattle, we went down to Portland and stayed with a buddy of mine and who I'm actually going to try to get on the podcast in 2 weeks.
Nice.
When you're on vacation. But his family owns a vegetable distribution place. So, like, they get all this stuff, So we were going to be at a cabin for a night, 2 nights. And he brought enough food for fucking 3 weeks. So when we went home, he's like, I got all these fucking hot sauces. And he gave us all these hot sauces. And one was a Calabrian chili hot sauce. And it's fucking incredible. It is so good. And then there's a habanero one, and it's just as good. The heat's perfect, but the flavor is banging. I'll take pictures of the jars and
yeah, especially that Calabrian chili hot sauce, because
it's so good.
There's one company I've seen that makes a Calabrian chili hot sauce, and they actually sell it at Di Pasquale's, and I think it's an Italian company, but it's crap. It's trash. Yeah. It tastes like nothing. There's no vinegar in it. It's not hot. It's like
this is spicy and it's chunky.
Nice,
but it pours. You know, it's in like one of those just bottles, like one of the fatter bottles with just a round top.
Like
it's not
jar.
It's not like you gotta like work to fucking. Jerk it out.
John
basically.
Is making the jerking motion.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it was a down jerk. Thank you.
Is that how you do it?
Like a ketchup? Yeah, because it it doesn't go up. So I gotta. No, like when you're doing like a ketchup.
John, stop, please, stop doing it.
Fine.
In front of.
Sorry, I was like just like you're like with ketchup, right? Like.
Into your mouth, not on the plate. Yeah. Is that what you're?
Yeah, that's how I normally jerk my ketchup into. But no, the hot sauce is amazing, and I'll take pictures of it and post it tomorrow.
Sweet.
The thing that sucks is we had 4 bottles, and I think I only found 2. I don't know where the other 2 are.
Oh.
Probably in like a sock drawer or something, or we left it in the suitcase.
Oh no! Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
Cool. But anyway,
that's a great book.
Yeah, but there's and then there's like the other section, which is almost like a third of the book, is wet cured hams, which are like we've had a whole conversations. It's like the Christmas ham, or the city ham, people call it, where it's wet cured or brined, and then a lot of times smoked. And then this is like what you think of as your Christmas ham, that you carve lines into it and put cloves and pineapple wedges and cherries on it and bake it off and put a glaze on it. And that is the wet cured ham. So it has a whole section on that. And it has a section on recipes that you can use, like deviled eggs with ham, which is classic. And then it gets into like black bean soup with the ham bone and orange zest, and stuffed baked potatoes with wet cured ham. And so there's a whole other section with that, and some really great recipes. And I really like that they include some of the traditional recipes that you would typically use, but then they go a little out of the box and go Asian.
That's
or cool. Even Middle Eastern and like all this other stuff. But yeah, it's a great singular subject cookbook. But that is still like really interesting, and it's not too dry. Like, it gives you a lot of information, but there's also a lot of recipes in here, so it's like a good happy medium of education and recipes. So there you have it. An obsession with ham, the hindquarter.
It's good that you came up with the word professional. Like professional chef, because that's the name of my cookbook. The Professional Chef.
That looks fancy. From the Culinary Institute of America.
This is their textbook. This was my textbook. This was my textbook in culinary school.
Oh.
And they have updated versions of this. And actually, you got a membership to Cookbook, that website, right?
Yeah.
They have it on there, so you can
on there.
Get through
Oh,
it.
Cool! It looks like a fucking atlas. It is.
Yeah, it's huge.
Huge.
Like, it really. I mean, it covers everything. And this book now is 17 years old.
Yeah. Probably bigger now.
But I still. Oh yeah, probably bigger. But even at the time, I had old versions before. And this one, when I got to culinary school, was so modern and updated by this point. I was like, oh my God, it's like not just French technique anymore. They had, different styles and different ways of cooking, and I can't even imagine what it is now, like the updated version, because the CIA is constantly trying to stay at the edge and keep people
stay relevant
and have their students know the technique of the time and also of the past. And people don't really realize this, but cooking ebbs and flows, and it goes in and out of style. Stuff does, and people weren't thinking about nduja fucking 17 years ago. Like there might be a recipe for it in there, but who knows?
Yeah. Or idea of cooking like Asian food or like international food is just like no way,
And the recipes in here are pretty fucking solid. Like, they could be very middle of the road and not be like super crazy flavorful, but they'll always be really good. Does that make sense? Like they're not
definitely.
It's not going to be like, like for the chili rellenos right here, or like they got some dim sum stuff. Like it's not going to be like terrible white people versions. It's going to be thought out, but it's not going to be like grandma style. It's going to be like, this is made for like a person who owns a restaurant who wants to try this.
Yeah.
On their menu, that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like the professional version of it, recipe of it. And like, it's a good base, like, and let people make it their own. Like, you got to start somewhere. You got to start with like the basics of it.
But this goes, this is literally the textbook. So it covers like regions, like in the beginning it's like the history of food and the main ingredients of each region and their spices, and cooking techniques of Japan, like sukiyaki and nonomo and teriyaki and shioyaki and horakuyaki and tempura, mushi and umami, and like list of Japanese ingredients. And this is just the Japanese part. Like this, I'm only on page 85. This fucking thing is 1,200 pages. You know what I mean? This is before you even get to like, then there's like, right after there's like the beef section, and then they, show you what the cuts are and all that shit. And
yeah. So out of the recipes, what percentage of the recipes do you think you've cooked out of there, including while you were in school?
Honestly, probably not even 10%.
Yeah. Wow.
And, because there's so many recipes. It really is just a shit ton of recipes. But like, their cassoulet recipe's really fucking good. I've done, a lot of the stuff that we would do in culinary school was kind of like your classics. But then, once a month we would go off and do like a really fun thing. And then by the end of the culinary school, you're doing nothing but fun things. Instead of just kind of learning the classics that basically are just being taught to you, so you learn the cutting techniques and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
That kind of stuff. But they even have a basic baking section at the back, because they have a whole other book that is just as thick as this, and it's nothing but baking.
Yeah.
Which was my baking cookbook that's upstairs. You know what I mean?
For the pastry chefs. Yeah.
Right. But like, in this kind of stuff, these baking recipes are not terribly complicated. They're made for chefs. You know what I mean? Like, for people that aren't comfortable with, baking. But they got force meat stuff. They got garde-manger stuff. It hits everything, and it's, if anybody really just wants to buy one book and try to learn to cook, this is a really good, like, if you fucking love food and really want to get into like what cooking around the world kind of is, this gives you a really good overview of a lot of different techniques, because it's, it's a instructional book, so it's technique heavy as fuck. Like, lots of pictures, there's lots of videos online, that kind of shit. But the book's incredible. Like, I highly recommend it. It's the CIA book, The Professional Chef. This is the 8th edition. I think they're up to at least the 10th now.
Yeah.
So,
man, I feel like there's even Must be more.
I don't know.
If that's 17 years ago, you said?
Yeah, well, some of these books, they don't get updated that much.
Yeah. Yeah,
let's see.
They're expensive as fuck, I bet.
Oh, well, the 10th came out in 2011, so yeah, they might be up to Christ. Who knows what they're at now?
But yours is way out of date, John.
Oh, mine's super out of date, but it's still,
still fun.
See, okay, here we go. The Professional Chef. This is the new one. It's got kale on the front. 10th edition, yeah. So, yeah, the 10th came out this year.
Oh,
that's interesting. Go. Yeah, it came out in April. And that's the one that they have on that cookbook website. Because they have that, and then they have a baking and pastry picture book that's really cool. And then they have a brand new garmager book, which I'm like, I'm going to have to get that. Because I don't do a lot of garmager stuff, but I love learning about the techniques of curing foods and stuff like that. Like, that's like where the magic happens for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, short and sweet, but like, if you want to, like, if you like to just have a book on your table that you can just fucking read through, like, there's a ton to read, but there's also a zillion things to cook from.
Yeah.
And you're not going to go wrong by it because it's made by the people that put out the best chefs in the world, literally. So, yeah, there you go.
Sounds like a good supplement to like online cooking classes too. Like,
yes, because you're not gonna learn. I mean, you can look at the pictures and be like, okay, but it's good to watch people do instead of it static picture.
Yeah.
But with this book, you're going to get a solid recipe as long as you know how to make the things in the recipe.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know what tomato concasse is, right? But
you better look it up.
But you can look it up in this book, and it'll show you that basically tomato concasse is just scooping out all the gooey stuff in a tomato and just using the flesh. That's tomato concasse. So that kind of shit. So yeah.
Nerd.
Fine. It's better than bitch, I guess.
It is.
Or am I bitching today? So there you go. Thanks. That was fun, Jenny. And thank you, everybody, for listening to the Rude Cooking School podcast. We really appreciate your time and your ears and listening to us. If you would like to share our podcast with other people, we would really appreciate it. Word of mouth is how we get out there to other people. We don't advertise or pay money to other websites to promote us. So word of mouth is how we get out there, and we really appreciate it. Join our Facebook group if you want. It's a really fun place. I posted a video of a dude cooking an isopod today, and people are losing their fucking minds. Have you seen those things?
No. Well, I know what an isopod is.
Yeah, they look like potato bugs, like the
giant roly-polies.
Yeah, giant roly-polies. Yeah, and people are fucking not happy with me right now.
Yeah.
But normally, like, we post silly things and people post real things, and it's a really fun place. Just ask to be entered, and we'll let you in. Is there anything you want to promote, Jenny? You want to promote the restaurant?
Yeah. If you are in South Baltimore and need a really good breakfast sandwich, come visit our family restaurant, Peck's Place, PAIK''S, down in South Baltimore, and get yourself a scrapple egg and cheese and grape jelly sandwich.
She's not making that up.
Hi. You can come by and say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their food's really good. I highly recommend it. I got to get down there again. But yeah, everybody, thank you for listening to the Rude Cooking School podcast. I will be back next week with a food news episode, and I'll see you then. So until then, my name's John Hauser III. Don't yuck my yum.
And my name's Jeni Peck. Bye.
See you, everybody. All right.